Hello and welcome to This Is. Today I'm going to ask the age-old question. How old is too old when it comes to the iPhone SE3's design? Now, joining me today, I have Ken Bolito from Danky Channel. Now, I want to preface that today we're going to be talking about the iPhone SE, and it is not a review. I want to be clear about that. If you want a great review of the SE, go ahead and check out Ken's channel. But today we're going to be talking about more just what a lot of other influencers have been talking about, which is it's a great phone. The design hasn't changed in decades.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's a tried and true design. I don't think that it's something that a lot of normal people really complain about, though that argument is getting a little bit harder as we get further and further away from when it originally launched, which was with the iPhone 6 era.
Yeah, and there's a very loud discourse that Apple's out of ideas, that's why they haven't changed the design. I personally just don't think that that's the case for this. I'm not going to try and defend the phone of saying like, oh, you know, it's innovative. It's not innovative in any way, shape, or form other than stuffing a flagship processor into it.
Yeah, so for context, this has an A15 Bionic chip in it, which is the same chip that is in my iPhone 13 Pro Max, as well as the current slate of iPhone flagships.
There is no mincing words about it. Like, that is the most powerful cell phone processor, period.
Yeah, and as I mentioned in my video, it's probably more powerful than it has any right being in a mid-range phone, but there are probably a few reasons why Apple did this, the main one being that we don't know what the shelf life of these things are.
You know, keeping the design the same way constantly year after year is a cost-saving measure. You know, like it's their cheapest phone at $430. It was what, the 8th best-selling smartphone, which it doesn't surprise me because one thing that I feel like needs to be said, we need to stop looking at a phone like this with the tech enthusiast lens.
It's not made for us.
It's not made for us. It's made for the general public. It's made for, you know, I know this is kind of a tired excuse at this point, but it's made for grandma. It's made for grandpa. They want the home button. They don't want Face ID. They don't want to do gestures.
There are a lot of enthusiasts, though, that still have these phones just for Touch ID.
It's a great phone for $430. And I see so many people comparing this to like an S22, which just is baffling to me of just like, why are you comparing a $1,000 smartphone to their most budget phone? What I really want to compare the iPhone SE3 to is one of Samsung's phones coming up, which is the A33, which is a mid-range phone, and on paper they are the most one-to-one comparison. For the specs for the A33, we have a 6.4-inch 1080 90 Hz OLED display, which is a big deal compared to the LCD screen for a lot of people. It is a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, 4 rear cameras, and it's approximately $420, so $10 cheaper than the iPhone SE.
Yeah.
So if you compare those two phones, the Galaxy A33 is a better phone all around except for the processor.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like, I think with the A33, I'm actually really excited about it, and I really want to make a comparison with the SE, because I think that for enthusiasts, and especially for people that are on the Android side, that is probably one of the more compelling mid-ranges. My main sticking points are both in the screen and the camera.
Yeah.
For the screen, people complain that it is an LCD screen, which is understandable in the scheme of OLEDs being very contrasty and very vivid, but traditionally, Apple LCDs have been the best around, and they still outperform the OLEDs that you see in phones like the Pixel 5a, that you see in Apple's own OLEDs.
There's a great experiment that was a few years ago. It was when the Poco phone came out.
Oh my God.
And it was the 10R.
That was a while ago.
Our friend Jonathan Morrison had done a great experiment where he went around with 2 videos playing on the Poco phone and then the 10R. And he went a bunch of strangers on the street and said, hey, which do you like better? And I think it was like a whopping like 9 out of 10 people picked the iPhone. You know, resolution does not necessarily mean quality.
Yeah.
You know, it's a better panel with better color accuracy. Again, I want to be very clear. We're not saying that the iPhone is better than like some of these other mid-range phones, but just looking on paper and saying, oh, it's a 720 screen, that does not tell the whole story.
I mean, especially since, one, it's in a smaller body. So 326 pixels per inch, like, that's a really respectable amount. Obviously, it's not crazy high, but at normal viewing distance, you're not going to be able to tell. The main thing is, with the newer like iPhone 11 style designs with the taller screens like the 10R, is that they're just more immersive in hand, right? It's more screen, there's less bezel. That I can get behind. That's a reasonable argument.
That is a very valid argument.
Anything more than that, though, the screen's trash. Not quite. Not quite.
One of the other things that I see with a lot of the SE, a single camera in this day and age, again, comparing it to the A33, which has 4, one camera is okay.
I would love more. So I did a test last night. I did it with the 13 Pro, both in night mode and in standard.
Yep.
And the 2022 SE. And what I walked away with was people are complaining for nothing. Honestly, you know what the funny thing is? I went to make my tweet. I had to go back and forth and figure out which phones took which photos.
And you know what? I'm actually gonna blame Apple themselves for this. Look, every product is not for you. Every product is not for me. Every product is not for Ken. They come out with such fanfare, and that's like, I feel like they are somewhat painting a target on their back with when you got a phone like this. Is the SE revolutionary? No.
No, absolutely not.
Is it a super solid phone that most people in the world would be great using? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, right?
Right.
It does all of the iPhone things very well at its price point.
Just not as good as the Pros.
Which
should that's
even the standard 11. And let's bring another argument here.
Yeah.
This is one that I've seen on Twitter a lot, which is a very valid one.
Yeah.
The iPhone 11, Apple is selling it on their website right now for $500. What would you go with?
If I'm a tech enthusiast on a budget, I'm going for the 11. I want the higher screen to body ratio. I want, the extra cameras, stuff like that. If I'm a tech
What's
enthusiast.
your priorities, right?
Right. Coming back to the Samsung A33, I'm never going to recommend this phone over the Samsung. Because if you're a tech enthusiast and you want all the specs and stuff like that, you should 100% go and get something like the Samsung or a Pixel 5a. They do have better overall specs.
You also have a bunch of
you
enhancements.
Can customize more on Android.
Yeah, you have all the enhancements that Samsung bring with One UI as well, which, I think is give or take for some people, but especially using the Galaxy Fold, I'm sure Austin can talk about his experience with the Z Flip. A lot of us actually do lean on that stuff. It's not bloat anymore.
That's where I'm the opposite way. That's why I was an Android user for years, and I switched over because I no longer was really caring about doing all that customization.
Just want to use your phone because it's a utility.
Yeah, like
this is literally a thing that helps me do my work.
YouTube, when I open up Twitter, when I open up the handful of apps that I'm using, it's the same on all of them. At the end of the day, I'm like, okay, you know what? This works really well. It works really well with my MacBook. And that's really what this is. If you want a cheap way to get into the Apple ecosystem and to have support for longer than any phone on the market, we don't know that for sure with the SE, but historically, Apple has supported their phones for 7 years at this point.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting by having a flagship modern day chip in your smartphone today.
The only
so
problem.
they cut corners everywhere else, like the body, to make that happen.
Yeah, and speaking of cutting corners with the body, the main pain point with sticking with this body, if not for the screen, if not for the camera, is the battery life.
Yes.
So we have the addition of 5G in here, which certainly doesn't do anything favors. Powerful chips as well, A15, we already mentioned that. So Apple claims on average for streaming video an extra 2 hours, and I've seen some reviews that say more or less that this noticeably lasts longer, but in the scheme of every other mid-range phone, this battery leaves more to be desired.
Do you think this battery is enough for a non-tech enthusiast, the person who uses their phone as a phone,
I'll tell you, like, even when I dailied the SE2 for about like 3 or 4 weeks. Like I actually put my main SIM in here and used it. That lasted me a whole workday and a little bit into the evening. It wasn't a whole full day, but it was pretty damn close. This, if it's better, which like so far I've noticed that it doesn't die as quickly.
Yeah.
This will certainly get you well past a workday, and they say that with a 30-watt charger, you will get about 50% charge in 30 minutes.
And that's kind of my point with this, of just like, this is not defending Apple for keeping a small battery in there, but they definitely have the data there that's saying, okay, this battery, for the use cases, it's fine for the crowd that we're trying to target.
Yeah, I mean, they thought it was a fair trade-off. I do think that this battery, it could be better.
Yes.
By a lot.
Yes.
But it is serviceable. It is definitely not as bad as people think it is, but it's...
it comes back to the conversation of, well, do we have to redesign the body to accommodate a larger battery, and then the redesigning a body like that then increases the price? But it's a cascading conversation of like, look, this is not a flagship. Let's not treat it like one. But to immediately dismiss a phone like this just because some specs on paper.
If literally food was just nutrition facts,
yeah,
we would not be eating all the things that we like, right? Again, there's just a whole lot more to this than just pleasing enthusiasts. And I think some enthusiasts just need to see that. All this to say, though, that the iPhone SE is a really good iPhone SE, and it's a worthy mid-range phone. I think it's hard to deny that Apple really makes a killer one here. I really think they knocked this out of the park. People, again, disagree with me, but I think this is it.
So there you have it. Make sure you go check out Ken's channel, Danky, for the full review of the SE3. We're going to try and have the A33 on there as well to compare them to. Let us know in the comments how wrong we are about Apple and the SE3 and how it's the worst phone that's ever been made. Like, subscribe, comment, ring-a-ling the notification bell. There you go, Austin. I put it in there for you. And we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.